Have you noticed how more and more people are watching videos at 1.5 speed, or even twice as fast, and yet they still understand everything? Some even say they prefer it. At first glance, it feels almost like cheating time, like hacking reality. But the real question is, why can our brains keep up with that speed without breaking? The answer is hidden deep in the way your brain processes information, and it's not what you think. Most people assume that when we listen to someone speak, our brain is working at full capacity just to keep up. That's not true. In fact, your brain is massively underutilized when listening to speech at normal speed. On average, humans speak at around 150 words per minute. But your brain's language processing hardware, the auditory cortex and the surrounding regions, can easily handle over 400 words per minute. That means in a normal conversation, your brain has extra bandwidth sitting idle. Imagine driving a sports car on an empty highway but being limited to 40 miles per hour. You're not pushing the engine at all. When you increase playback speed, you're simply allowing that engine to run closer to its optimal performance. This is why speeding up content often feels surprisingly comfortable after a short adjustment period. But there's another layer to it. When you listen slowly, that extra unused brain power doesn't just sit quietly. It starts wandering. You get distracted. You think about what's for dinner or what email you need to reply to. That wandering is called the default mode network kicking in, the set of brain regions responsible for daydreaming and self-reflection. By increasing playback speed, you give your brain less idle time, keeping it focused on decoding the stream of words. It's like giving a bored kid a puzzle that's just challenging enough to hold their attention. Neuroscience research backs this up. Studies show that comprehension rates remain almost identical between normal speed and up to about 2 times speed for most people. That's because our working memory, the mental notepad where we store information temporarily, can still keep up with the faster pace, as long as it stays within that upper limit. Push it beyond that, and comprehension drops sharply because the input starts flooding in faster than the brain can encode it. Think of your working memory like a conveyor belt. At the right speed, each item arrives, gets processed, and moves along. Too slow, and the workers stand around waiting. Too fast, and the items pile up and fall off the belt before anyone can handle them. Here's a practical analogy. If you've ever skimmed a book, your eyes jump across the page, pulling out key phrases and concepts while ignoring filler words. Fast playback works similarly. Your brain learns to grab the meaning without dwelling on every syllable. In fact, when you watch at higher speeds, your brain becomes better at predicting the next words based on context, so you're processing meaning almost ahead of the audio. This prediction skill is a core feature of how language understanding works, and it gets sharper with practice. There's also a psychological component. Faster content often feels more engaging. The increased pace creates a sense of momentum, which can make the information feel more stimulating. That stimulation is tied to dopamine release, the brain's reward chemical, which helps with motivation and memory. In other words, faster playback can literally make your brain enjoy the content more, at least up to the point where it becomes overwhelming. But why does this feel so natural in the digital age, when watching live conversations at double speed would be bizarre? Part of it is training. Many of us have spent years consuming short, rapid bursts of information, scrolling through social media, reading quick headlines, watching fast-cut videos. This has subtly increased our tolerance for high-speed information delivery. So when we bump up the speed on a lecture or podcast, our brain treats it as just another high-tempo input, not a shock to the system. However, the real superpower of watching at higher speeds is time compression. If a 1-hour video becomes a 40-minute video without losing comprehension, you've gained 20 minutes. Do that across all your learning and entertainment, and you're adding hours to your week. It's like finding hidden pockets of time that were always there but locked behind an artificial speed limit. Yet, it's important to understand the trade-offs. While your comprehension might remain high for factual and structured content, nuanced or emotionally heavy material can suffer when rushed. That's because those forms of content rely on pauses, tone, and pacing to convey meaning beyond the words themselves. Think of a suspense scene in a movie. Speeding it up can strip away the tension, so the art is knowing when speed helps and when it hurts. What's fascinating is that your brain can adapt both ways. Just as it can learn to process faster, it can also resensitize to slower speeds if you switch back. That's why after a binge of double-speed videos, normal speech can sound like it's in slow motion. Your brain's internal clock for speech rhythm has temporarily recalibrated. And here's the kicker. Once you've trained yourself to handle faster speeds, You've effectively expanded your cognitive flexibility. You've taught your brain to operate in a wider range of input rates, which can spill over into other skills like rapid reading or quick decision-making. This isn't just about watching videos faster, it's about reshaping your information processing system to be more adaptable. This also explains why the adjustment period for watching faster is so short. At first, your brain feels like it's sprinting, but within a few sessions, it begins to rewire its prediction models to fit the new pace. Neural pathways involved in language comprehension get more efficient, shaving milliseconds off processing time. In neuroscience, this is called temporal adaptation, your brain's ability to recalibrate to a new timing pattern. And once it's locked in, that faster rhythm becomes the new normal. What's interesting is that this adaptation doesn't just vanish when you go back to regular speed. You carry some of that efficiency with you, which is why people often report feeling more alert or focused after regularly consuming fast-paced content. The effect is similar to resistance training for your brain. You train with higher loads so that normal loads feel easier. But here's a fascinating twist. Faster isn't always better for every type of learning. When you're dealing with brand new concepts that require mental modeling, like understanding a physics problem or visualizing a biological process, slowing down can actually help because your brain needs extra time to build and test mental simulations. In those moments, the pause isn't wasted. It's active construction time. That's why a skilled learner knows when to push the speed and when to let it breathe. Still, the majority of everyday content, lectures, podcasts, informational videos, contains a lot of redundancy. Speakers naturally repeat ideas in different words, use filler phrases, and insert pauses. All of these are helpful in live conversation, but inefficient in recorded media. By increasing the playback speed, you're essentially stripping away that built-in slack time. It's like trimming the silence from a piece of music without changing the melody. The meaning remains intact, but the performance feels sharper and more engaging. There's another subtle benefit. Faster playback can improve focus by reducing the brain's opportunity to engage in what psychologists call involuntary mind wandering. When the stream of input is slow, your attention has room to drift. At higher speeds, you have to stay locked in or risk missing something, and this forced engagement can actually make the experience feel shorter and more immersive. That's why some people say a 2-hour lecture at 2x speed feels faster and less tiring than the same lecture at normal speed. It's not just the clock, it's the level of mental engagement. And then there's the compounding time effect. Saving 20 minutes here and 15 minutes there might not sound like much, but over a week of learning, it can easily add up to several extra hours. Over a year, that's entire weeks of extra time reclaimed simply by adjusting a slider. Time is the one resource you can't make more of, but you can compress your consumption of it. You could think of it as time arbitrage, gaining value from the same material while spending less of your most precious currency. Of course, there's a balance to strike. If you push speed so far that comprehension dips, the savings vanish because you'll need to rewatch or you'll retain less. That's why the sweet spot for most people lies between 1.25 and 2 times speed. At that pace, you're tapping into your brain's unused capacity without triggering cognitive overload. It's a perfect example of how small optimizations grounded in how your biology works can have an outsized impact on your daily life. This is also a reminder that a lot of our modern habits, like watching at higher speeds, aren't random quirks. They're adaptive behaviors that emerge because our brains are always seeking efficiency. In a way, the shift toward faster consumption mirrors what evolution has always done. It rewards systems that can extract maximum value from minimal time. Now, when you notice yourself speeding up a video or podcast, you'll know it's not just impatience, it's your brain sensing that it can handle more and choosing to run at a pace closer to its real potential. And perhaps the bigger insight here is that this isn't just about media. It's about questioning where else in life we might be running below our mental capacity, coasting when we could be cruising. Because if you can train your brain to process speech at twice the speed without losing understanding, what other limits might be more flexible than you think? If peeling back the science behind a simple button on your video player can change how you think about your own brain's potential, imagine what happens when we dig into the hidden mechanics of everything around us. That's exactly what we do here on How It Actually Works. So, if you want more of these mental keys to unlock the secret gears of the world, like this video, share it with someone curious, and subscribe. Curiosity is the fuel, and we'll keep building the map.